Okay, we are. So the Gemara says a chatas of the bird sin offering precedes other bird offerings. Yeah. So chatas of comes first. The sin offering of a bird is earlier. The sin offering of a bird comes for like 15 times over by me. So it says, out of the two birds you bring, the hikri v'asashel chatas rishona. You bring the chatas first. So what is the idea of first? Not tamalomar. What's it teaching you? And don't tell me that it comes first, because she'ain tamad lomar v'lamit sh'tikar rishona. Why not teach me that? Because harei kar nemar v'asasheni yasa ola. It already says that the second one's going to be an ola. So if you have two offerings and one's a chat, one's an ola, something here is repetitive. You don't have to tell me that this one comes first and that one comes second. If this one comes first, then yes, that one will come second. You don't have to speak it out. We can figure that out on our own. And if it says that one comes second, so then obviously we know that this one comes first. So Ella, what's it there for the teachers? That to teach you that all the chatas always comes before an ola. Habos imam with the ones that come with it. So in this case, they're both coming, chatas and ola together. Chatas comes first. Bein chatas oaf olas oaf, whether it's a chatas oaf preceding the olas oaf, or bein chatas behema olas behema, or whether it's a chatas of an animal, a sin offering of an animal will precede the ola offering of an animal. Even a sin offering of a bird will come before the ola offering of an animal. Therefore, chatas of olas of midas asheni, and chatas of behema olas behema mid Rabbi Rachmana. So, therefore, the sin offering of the bird comes before the ola of an animal. Comes from the ola of a bird. From the words the asheni, the fact that the Torah said, and this one will come second. And chatas behema the olas behema, and the sin offering of an animal comes before the ola animal offering. Mid Rabbi Rachmana, from the fact that Torah included, take it out, but it included maybe the word Rishona. Really take it out. Yeah, Mid Rabbi Rachmana. Okay, from the fact that Torah included this, taught us this idea that a chatas comes before the ola. So chatas ola olas behema mizeh bana ab. From there we have a general rule that a chatas will come before the ola. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Basically, a chatas will always come before an ola, whether you're a bird chatas and a bird ola, animal chatas and animal ola, or a bird chatas and an animal ola. The bird chatas will come first. Now, we're going to talk about now by a yoledes, by a lady that gives birth. So she's going to bring two birds. She can't bring her animal offering. She's going to bring two bird offerings. And now it's going to flip it. Now the ola is going to come first. So let's see. Tashma. Whenever the chatas is switched, so to speak. So, for example, by the variable offering, if you cannot bring an animal, so you bring birds. So, in that case, the chatas comes first. Vikan over here means by a lady who gives birth. So here, all of a sudden, ola kodemas, the ola comes first. So what happened over here? Why does the ola come first? So kol makom sheba al chet chatas kodemas. Vikan ola kodemas. Once again, when it comes for a sin, the sin offering comes first, and yet here the ola offering comes first by a lady who gave birth. The kol makom sheshnayim bayim takas chatas. Whenever you have two animals, two birds, let's say, brought instead of an animal offering, The chatas kodemis, always a sin offering comes first. V'kan ola kodemis. Once in here by the lady who gave birth. So you bring two offerings, and you bring the bird for an ola and a bird for a chatas. And yet, when you do that, the ola comes first. So we have all these reasons why a chatas should come first. What does this mean? The first answer is really no. The chatas comes first. It mentioned ola first. So at least the way Rashi understands is that it's you read it first. Either you read it first in the Torah, or maybe some say you read it first before you bring your sacrifice. That in terms of reading, it comes first. That's all. But it still follows the general rule that what's actually sacrificed is going to be a chatas. Okay. Now we're going to ask questions on this rule that a chatas comes first from other areas. So Tashma says the Bryce of Parim bull, Kodman le'ayolim, rams, right? Ayolim, Kodman le'kos, and the rams come before the sheep. And yeah, right? I was confused with animals. Run the last line.
Oh,
very last line, yeah.
Rams.
Yeah, good. Okay, so good. So the rams go before the sheep. The ayolim called mekvasim, mekvasim l'seirim. Yet the sheep precede the. He goes exactly. So that's all Jules will decide. Yeah, so that's in the Mesechus Yoma. They have lotteries. Rock paper scissors it. So now, what are we talking about? They have all these things that there's a precedence: the bulls to the rams, to the sheep to the he goats. So ma'ilav dechag, are we not talking about animals that are brought on the holiday, and therefore, let's say you're bringing on the holiday, so the seirim, the he goats, are the chatas ones, and the sheeps are the ola. If these are the offerings you're bringing on the holidays, so the he goats are the chatas offerings, and they're last in the list. So what do you see? That the sheeps do come before the he goats, even though the he goats are the chatas offering. Ma'ilav dechad, which would be a question on us. Lo, linadavel. No, we're talking about voluntary offerings, and therefore it's not a question. Parim kodmin la'ayom. So why do bulls come before rams? Shekenis shabbat minasachim, because bulls they have more libations with them. They have three estronim, actually 3 estronim. An ayil only has 2 estronim, and a kevis, a sheep, only has 1 isarim. Right? This is, by Rosh Chodesh, we list all these things. It goes to all the offerings. So the bulls have more sanctity because they have more libations, and then the rams are number 2 with more libations than the sheep, and the poor sheep only have 1 libation, and therefore, yeah. So now the chenayalim kvasim l'seirim, but the sheep have 1 up on the he goats. Why? Shekena strobu ba'olya, that its tail gets brought. The fat of the tail gets offered up, so that's a higher level of holiness. Tashma says the Brisa. Okay, Par Kohen Mashiach. So back to Horios for a second. So the Kohen Gadol makes a mistake. He errs erroneously, and now we need to bring a bull for him. He brings a bull. So Par Kohen Mashiach, Kohen the Par Halam. At the same time, however, though, the head of the Jewish rule also made a mistake and ruled erroneously, and we all followed him. So now he's going to bring a bull. So now you have a bull of the Kohen Gadol, a bull, the communal offering of the bull that we have to bring for atonement. And so what comes first? So par helam davar shel tzibur kodem par volos. One sec, sorry. Par kol mashiach kodem par helam davar shel tzibur. Par helam davar shel tzibur. The communal bull comes before the bull that's brought for erroneously serving idols. The par volos kochavim. Par volos kochavim, the bull of idol worship, the bull that you bring for serving idols. Kodem l'seirei avodos kochavim. That comes before the goats of an individual that serves Avodah Zarah. Yeah. I think when the community serves, they have to bring a bull, but when the individual serves, they bring a he-goat, right?
He-goat.
Oh, it gets, sorry, a person gets the bull, and that bull is an ola. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. So when it comes to the par helam davar, the bull that's brought for the communal offering, or the bull that's brought for serving idols, so one's a chatas, one's an ola, and the chatas comes first. That's fine. However, the avodas kol chavim, the bull that's brought for idol worship, comes before the higo that's brought for idol worship, even though the bull that's brought for idol worship is really the ola offering. I think you have to bring a few offerings over there by the communal idolatry. So the bull is the ola and the he-goat is the chatas. And yet we're saying that the ola, which is the bull, comes before the he-goat, which is the chatas. Yeah, I think you bring the both together. And we're saying that, yeah, we're saying we're not talking about individual idol worship, right? Only communal idol worship. Communal, yeah. So you're bringing both them, and yet the ola comes first. Fine. So now we're asking, sorry, the bull comes before the he-goat, even though the he-goat is a chatas, and the bull is an ola. Yeah. Right.
When the bull and the chatas go together,
yeah, that's the question. No?
Because in superior speaking, it's contradicts the original price.
Right.
Given birth.
So we see the end of this price contradicts what we said earlier, that here we see that ola precedes a chatas. And yet before we said a chatas always precedes an ola. Now the Gemara says, okay, but look at the beginning of the brisa. The beginning of this brisa fits the rule. The ema miresha par helam davar shel tzibur kollel par avodas kol chavim. You have two bulls. One's for the communal mistake, and one's for the communal idol worship mistake. And yet there, you bring the bull of the communal offering, which is a chatas. That comes before the par avodas kol chavim, the bull that's brought for idol worship, which is an ola offering. On the one hand, the beginning of the brisa, when it comes to two bulls, the chatas comes first. When it comes to the he-goat and the bull, so then when it comes to the bull and the he-goat, so then the ola bull will precede the he-goat chatas. So this brisa itself is a contradiction. It says the Gemara, no. Bechad mina miha lo kamina. That rule of one preceding the other, the chatas and ola, we're saying now that is not going to apply to one species when you have two bulls. You have other considerations. So when you have two bulls here, the chad mina miya lo karminon, the chatas karminon. That the chatas will always come first. You have two bulls. One's a chatas, one's an ola. The chatas will always come first. Ki karminon betray meaning. We're talking when you have two different species. So now when you have two different species, that's our problem. That's our question. In this case, you have two different species, and yet you see the ola comes first. But we mentioned this rule earlier. The rule was talking about when you have two species, the chatas comes first. When you have one species, it wasn't a question. Of course, the chatas is going to come first. Even when you have two different species, the earlier rule told us that the chatas comes first. The end of this brisa tells us that an ola comes first. Which one is it? So, Eshchan ola become chatas. We found over here in this brisa that the ola offering comes before the ola, the bull that's brought for idol worship is an ola, comes before the he-goat that's brought for idol worship. So that's the chatas. Oh, Ari b'ma Rava, they said in Eretz Yisrael, Mishmei the Rava Bar Mari, in the name of Rava Bar Mari, chatas avodas kachavim, chaser aleph. Interesting. Lichatas in the Torah. In this case, the word chatas is missing an aleph. Lamed ches, test, and then a saf. It doesn't have an aleph. So if to teach you what? The first answer here is to teach you that that it's going to be different. It's going to be lacking something. So to teach you in general, a chatas and an ola that are brought together, the chatas always comes first. In this case, and only in this case, as hinted to by the missing aleph, here the ola will come first. When it comes to idol worship, the ola will come before the chatas. Ravina has another answer. He says, end of Parsha Shlach, it says, Kimishpat Sir. So it says at the end of bringing these offerings, the communal idol worship offerings, it says you should bring the bull, which is the ola, and then it says you should you bring the ola, and then it says kamishpat, and then it says usir izim achad lechatos. So it mentions first about this is about a communal error when it comes to idol worship. It mentions the bull first in the Torah. It says the word kamishpat. You do it according to the law, and then it says usir izim achad lechatos, and then it says you should bring a higot as a chatos. So Ravina says it says kamishpat sibuhu. It says in that pasuk kamishpat, do it according to the law. What law? Meaning, do it according to the way it's written. In this case, you should bring an ola, kamishpat, and then a chatos. So in this case, you should bring it to the way the Torah writes it. The general rule is a chatos comes for an ola. That we had already psukim to teach us that. But in this case, the added word kamishpat is telling you you should do it according to the order, according to the law, according to the order that it's written. And how is it written? It's written an ola first and a chatos second. So basically, the rule stands. A chatos always comes before an ola, except for communal idol worship. Either because a chatos is missing an aleph, or because this word kamishpat teaches you that you have to do it in the order that it's written. So, hash the asa the hachi. Once you mention that, so afilu tema parim dechagnami kamishpatam sibuhu. We had earlier all these bulls. You had a whole list of bulls, right? Where you said rock paper scissors, right? So you had the bulls and the rams and the sheep and the he-goats. And we said, are we talking about a holiday offerings, which would then teach us that an ola comes before the chatos? We said, no, we're talking about voluntary offerings. It says now, once you told me that the word kamishpa teaches us that it has to be done in the order that it's written, well, it says over there, kamishpatam ksibahu. It says also over there the word kamishpatam. So maybe keep it as a holiday offerings. And the reason there that an ola would come before the chatos is because the word kamishpatam to teach you specifically in these situations, you should bring it according to the order that it's written. So you have two places that break the rules because the word kamishpat, communal idol worship, and holiday offerings, but the rule still stays the same. Ibailahu says the Gemara, I have a question. Chatas of olas behema, who meiser ezemen koda. You have a bird sin offering, you have a ola animal offering, and then you have a meiser offering. So which one is going to come first? They're all three standing in front of you, and you have to choose. So Jules will say rocks, paper, scissors. Steve will say skip it. But Gleizer will say follow the rules. No. So, okay. So let's see. Three Jews in a bar. What do you do? See this? What do we do? No. So, Ezem and Koda. Who's the lip? Definitely going to bring in the chatos. Yeah. Right. Pay the joke after. Okay. So, Ezem and Koda. Take them chatos off. You should bring the chatos, like the rule. Sin offering comes first. Okay, but Ika Meiser, the Kadimla. But you should bring the Meiser. Why would you bring the Meiser? Why is that precedence? Because an animal, it's not a bird. The Kadimla, lick the Meiser, bring Meiser first. No, but Ika Olas Behema, the Kadimla. Okay, but maybe it's a behema. So the ola behema should come before the meiser. So tiktam olas behema. Maybe do the olas behema first. Okay, but ika chatas o. The behema is higher than a bird, but a chatas is higher than an ola. So ika chatas o the kadmala. What do you do? So hacha targimu min zevach adif. The one that gets slaughtered, or the animal that takes precedence, even though it's an ola, and the bird is the bird's an ola. Yeah, the bird's a chatas, the bird's a chatas, and the animal's an ola, but the min zevach adif, the fact that it's an animal that gets slaughtered, it will come first. It will come first. The Ma'arava Amri, like this, Aili ba olas behema, the chatas ha'of, the agbas sami meiser. The olas behema should come with the chatas ha'of, and they should both precede meiser. Why? Because the ola itself has some importance to it. The olas oaf comes with the chatas behema, I guess in this case.
animal עולה to the master, then it's the bird factor. That accompanies it.
Yeah, it's rational that
is an accompaniment.
Yeah, why is it accompanied? Because it accompanies it, meaning it precedes the it precedes it. Why does it accompany it? Because the animal itself is the oldest behema. Bring up the oldest behema, with the chadas of and both of them are gonna proceed, are gonna come before Meiser. So why? Because the animal, as opposed to Meiser, is Kodesh HaKadoshim. The Ola is Kodesh HaKadoshim, so it's going to come first. And Achatas comes from Ola, so then the bird's going to come with the animal, meaning they're both come before the Meiser. One's Kodesh HaKadoshim and one is Achatas, and they're going to go before the Meiser. Perfect. So it says the next Mishnah. So what? It says the next Mishnah. Yeah. So because one's fully holy and one's a chatas, they're gonna both come before the Meiser. Kol chatas shebetorah kodemes la'ashamos between asham mitzorim between shehu baal and kosher. All chatas in the Torah come before the asham, because except for the asham mitzorah that he has to bring at the end of his purification process, because his purification depends on this. Because to permit him. So all the ashamos in the Torah, they have to be 2 years old. I think up to 2 years old. They have to be worth at least 2 shkalim. It's unique about them, except for the asham nazir, asham mitzorah, shein bayin b'nei shnasan, the asham mitzorah and the asham nazir that's brought at the end of the Nazarite and the mitzorah process. Those have to be less than a year, and there's no minimal requirement of 2 shkalim. The ain bind because of shkalim. Kishem shekolben backer wasn't kolben bach. He lost. It's interesting. Just like all these rules of the last 2 mishnayos talk about precedence in terms of sacrificing. What do you eat first? You want to know where first course, second course comes from? It's over here. So yeah, where does it come from? Certain things you take precedence over eating them. So the chatas will be eaten before the asham, and that's going to be eaten before the kishem shekolben backer wasn't kolben bach. He lost. So, so that's that. Now, what if you have a yesterday offering, which is at risk of being spoiled, because it'll become no so, or you have today's offering right now? So, shlomim shel emesh, a shlomim of yesterday, the shlomim shel hayom, and a shlomim of today. So, shel emesh kodem l'shel yom. The yesterday shlomim is going to come before today's shlomim. That's for eating. Because you can't leave it and then let it spoil. Rashi added also, since it came first, it goes first. And one, it's a zilzal to leave it, and 2, it came first, so it's also offer it first. What is that? First, yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So, shel emesh, shel emesh kodem l'shel yom. Shlomim shel emesh. What if you have a shlomim from yesterday and a chatas of asham shel yom? But a chatas and an asham of today, which really take precedence over a shlomim. But if you leave the shlomim, it's going to go bad. So we say it's a machlokas. Shlomim shel emesh kodem divrei meir. A printer of meir would know it's going to be disgraceful to leave it, and then it might spoil. The chamim omrim no chatas kodemes l'pnei shikach kadashim. Too bad. A sin offering is a high level of sanctity, and you're not going to push it aside, and it's going to come first. The shalom might get ruined. We're not worried about that in terms of when it comes to weighing out this value of the chatas preceding it. Now, the kohanim are ready to eat. The kulan kohanim are shayin l'shanos b'achas, and they could eat it whether they want it roasted, lochon sluyim, the shlukim umuv v'shalom. Totally is roasted. Shlukim is very intensely cooked, overcooked. Yeah, umuv v'shalom. So this was where medium rare comes from. That's all from here. So umuv v'shalom, regular cook. So that's so they can also, let's say, soak in tavle chulin, tavle truma. They can put in spices of chulin and spices of truma. Divrei b'shimon, even spices of truma. Now, what's the problem? If you're going to not finish your offering, you're potentially going to become nosar, and then the truma is going to go to waste. Reb Meir Omer lo yitin tavle truma shlo yavi a truma the day psul. You don't want truma to become invalid like with no son. Okay. Ibailahu. Tadir umekudash ezumen kodem. When you have something which is more frequent versus something which is holier, what takes precedence? By the way, this Shabbos, we're going to be reading Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah. What comes first? Rosh Chodesh. Why? It's more frequent. Interesting. Talis and Tefillin, we pointed out, Talis comes first for two reasons. One of them is it's more frequent than Tefillin. So this is also Chanukah and Rosh Chodesh. No, but saying the reading. Saying the reading the Torah is the Rabbi Dovid saying Rosh Chodesh is more biblical. That's interesting. Yeah. So. Yeah. But no, but it's my answer question I had. Okay. Ibailahu tadir mekudash ezman kodem tadir kodem mishum de tadir. Maybe it's more frequency, better frequency. Odilma mekudash, or better sanctity. Sanctity will come first. Odil mekudash kodem. The kodesh because it's holy. So. Okay, we'll start the proofs tomorrow. Absolutely goes very fast. Well, what'd you say? 5:34.7. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. I don't know.